We ready?
We're all set.
Okie dokie. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Napolitani,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fisher, I saw him.
He is here.
Council members Achara,
Yep.
Kaplan, and Talarico.
Here.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted to Town Hall on December 22nd, 2025. Since we are completely virtual, I don't need to tell you where the exits are because everybody should be home and know their way out of their own houses. With that being said, we have a consent agenda with 4 items on here, and the reason why we have this meeting this afternoon is because we have requirements by the state that we need to get certain items voted on before the end of the year. This is a consent agenda. All items will be considered routine and will be placed on the consent agenda. I will open it up for public comment on these items now. Public comment on agenda items only. Jesse, just let me know if anybody
Alex Hayes.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hi, I just unmuted myself. I hope you guys can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm actually at a hotel on my family's holiday vacation, which is a great starting point for my public comment, and I was hoping that this would be for the record. A meeting at 2:30 p.m. on a Monday, which is not your normal time, right before the new year. I realize you said you had some deadlines to meet, but I find it highly circumspect that this was not publicized on social media. I'm going to guess that I'm the only member of the public on this. I hope I'm proven wrong, except for people who are parties to whatever resolutions you're talking about. I'm very disappointed that more information about this meeting was not blasted out to the public. Some of the topics today were taken off the last agenda, at the 11th hour or maybe even 15 minutes before. So it's kind of concerning. And there aren't even minutes from that last meeting. So if anybody wanted to comment on some other things, maybe it would have been helpful to have the minutes. Um, I also did notice when I logged on that it did say this meeting is being AI transcribed. So I don't know, maybe that's an easy way to get some minutes on a speedier mechanism for future meetings. I have a few questions. The Bauer Avenue House of Worship, it's very difficult for a layperson to follow these resolutions. From what I understand, it sounds like they're going to be demolishing one building and then building another one. So I'm concerned, why aren't there any architectural plans? What's being built? I'm sure it looks like it's been in the process for years. I'm concerned about number of parking spots. With another house of worship nearby, there was concerns over parking on the street, congested roads. Are EMS crews going to be able to safely go down Bauer and turn onto Lincoln with whatever is going to be built down there? So when some of those things can be addressed. The mediation agreement about the fair housing, that is extremely confusing to the layperson. It also says in the public documents in the agenda, a copy of which is attached herewith. There is no copy of the mediation agreement, so I don't really know what to ask about. All I could read was that there were about 210 units. You all filed a plan. The housing agency, countersued or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just wondering what's changing. Is the town building 210 units? Is there going to be a map? Where are we building? I hope some of those things can be addressed, and I really don't understand why more of this information is not made public. Hopefully, I'm within my 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. On the Brower, I'm going to push that over to Dave Brown. Dave, you're on, correct?
Yes, Mayor, I'm here.
Dave, just real
Yeah,
brief on that because there's not a lot
yeah,
of explanation. I know from what I read on the Brower thing. If you could just give an encapsulated version, please.
yeah. The purpose of this resolution, Mayor, is for the governing body to approve the developer agreement.
Yep.
All of what Ms. Hayes talked about took place at the one of the boards. I'm not sure if it was planning or zoning board, dealt with this issue. and those type of questions and everything could be dealt with there. And she can also probably get all the information should be available from Colleen Mayor's office. But the
Thank
purpose
you.
of this resolution is just for the council to approve the developers agreement.
Yeah, because
I didn't sign any minutes. There were no minutes for the most recent Bauer Avenue Developers Agreement on whatever most recent meeting it was
That's
discussed.
the planning board.
Yeah, you could
Right,
check with Colleen, Alex.
But how would the public know to look up the minutes if there aren't minutes?
No, I'm saying check with Colleen to see where the minutes are because Nicole may be still writing them up. They may not be approved yet. I'm not. I can't answer the direct question to you without talking to Colleen and seeing where they're at with the boards.
because those minutes, Alex, those minutes come from the planning board, not from council side.
I get it, but you're doing a public agenda voting on something and the public can't even read the agenda minutes for what you're voting on to be able to ask questions. It's a broken record. Okay. And what about the affordable
Hey,
housing
Dave,
question?
you want to just give a smattering on that, on the
Um,
affordable pool agreement?
okay, so the affordable housing resolution that is being presented to the governing body because we were in mediation with the Fair Share Housing Council, who had filed a complaint, and everything has been negotiated and worked itself out. So the details, again, Ms. Hayes, that you're looking for will be forthcoming. There's nothing set right now. There's just an agreement now that the town has with the Fair Share Housing. The judge, who's the mediator, approved it, and now the council is giving their authorization for the mediation agreement, and the council had been briefed prior to today's meeting.
So assuming this passes today and you all vote in majority, how soon will the mediation documents be posted online? Because it does say attached herewith, and they're not.
I can
Yeah,
put
we
them up
should.
right after
Yeah,
the
I say. Yeah, yep, there we go. Thank you, Justin.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
It'll be put up right away.
Under what? Under the minutes, or where do we find those?
I'll let Jesse respond to that.
I have no idea. I will figure a way to put them on there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the public, Jesse?
I don't see anyone.
wait.
Oh, Patty Cronheim?
Yeah, I just want you, is this the time for the Shade Tree Commission just to say a little bit about the resolution that the council has in front of them?
If you want to make a quick statement on that, Patty, that's fine, being that it is an agenda item. So go ahead.
Sure,
But
I just want to make aware that this was a 1.5-year process where we included the schools. I know you all met with the students who did the wonderful outreach. We've had 2 public stakeholder meetings on this comprehensive forestry management plan, which was an NJDEP requirement that the town present a new 5-year plan, which you've been sent, and that you'll be looking at to pass a resolution on is the final plan. And we will then, if it is approved, be sending it to the DEP so we can continue our relationship with the DEP and have the ability to have the proper insurances and apply for grants and all the important things that we do. The guts of the grant basically looks at tree safety, and it looks at the goals of maintaining tree safety, healthy canopy, and training, all kinds of things that were in our last grant, but it's we go more in detail on this grant, including things that we weren't included before, such as how to address and the need for prioritization in overburdened communities in the township. But we can answer any questions on it you have, and if you all want to ever do a deep dive on this, we worked with a consultant, with Sterling Consultants, and we'd be happy to meet with him and with the council at a workshop meeting if you ever want to do a deep dive on the CFMP.
I have a few questions, if I may.
Sure.
So I did read the plan, and thank you for that. My first question is, if it was to start on January 1st, 2025, why are we approving it now?
Well, that was because of COVID. The DEP basically gave everyone an extension in the state of New Jersey. Because of COVID, it changed the timing. So everyone who's submitting plans now is backdating them 2025. So that was a COVID-related NJDEP decision.
Okay, but we couldn't date it for 2026 till 2030?
No.
Okay. My second question is, I read that 71% of the trees in our town are poor or fair. So how are we addressing and when are we reevaluating those trees?
Well, that's a very good
Patty,
question.
let me
Okay,
address that.
Norm, jump in,
This is Norm.
please.
I'm the chairperson of the Shade Tree Commission.
Hi,
And
Norm.
and first, it turns out that in some bizarre way, even though our previous plan was almost 5 years, that was
Norm,
COVID. What?
hold on one second, because obviously with the meeting being virtual, I just want everybody to understand that is Norm Colton, chairman of the Shade Tree Commission. Just want to let people know who you are and why you're.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it turns out that the last plan would have been some number of years ago. They're 5-year plans, okay? But in some weird way that they do it, the year that the plan starts is the year you have to complete the plan. It's a weird system. You write the plan that year, but it sort of incorporates that year.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird the way to do that sort of thing. But the rest of the stuff then that we have, as far as what's going into that, okay, it addresses the things that we have to address. It doesn't necessarily say how we're going to address them in this particular plan. It talks about the things that we're going to do. For example, we had an inventory, a tree inventory,
Mm-hmm.
that did not cover the whole town. So somewhere in there, it talks about how we're going to complete that inventory and things of that nature, okay? And when we have any trees that we find that are hazardous, then that's taken over by combination of public works and community development, because that's where our tree professional resides, and so on and so forth. And then the funding of all of that stuff has to be made. That's where the council comes in with respect to where funding is available for those things, including the shade tree fund that exists already, and other things that we may have to do between working with public works and the council and the community.
Okay, and then my other question is, do we have a map of where the new trees are being planted? Because I didn't see that in the report.
We haven't right at this moment got a list of locations specifically where we're going to plant trees. Okay, now we got the plan covers trees that are in the on public domain. Doesn't include private property and so on and so forth. Okay, and if you've looked in the town, based on the fact that with the rights of way are such that they're not safe we don't have room in the regular streets that people live on. We have very few places where there's room to plant trees on those properties right now. Okay, so we're gonna have to try and be creative about something that might be able to be done in those kind of areas. But the rest of the areas are going to be town property, parks and so on and so forth. So we're working on our next steps are to develop a plan. And what this plan does, in this plan, it says these are the things that we're going to do. We're going to develop a planting plan. We're going to come up with equipment that we can use if the township is going to be participant, or we're going to just hire contractors and so on and so forth. That's what the plan talks about. It doesn't actually talk about specifics of we're going to plant trees here or there, but that over these next years, we plan to plant trees, and we're going to continue with our survey and any number of other things that are all in there. Arbor Day programs that we would have, which haven't had as many Arbor Day programs as we could have that were major, which includes planting of trees, like a whole public planting of a tree and so on and so forth. That's the kind of stuff that's in this particular plan. It's not a plan for how we're going to do the work, but identifying the work that we have
I can hear him.
Okay, so this plan is to identify what is needed for the forestry program, and then over the next year or 2 years, we're going to.
There's a 5-year plan, and our consultant is on here now. It's for some reason it says Jacob, but it's Ted. That's you, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, is on. And this is a broader lens. The DEP asked for is a broader lens for what our priorities are, what we're planning on doing, and how we're planning on doing it. And then with using this plan, we can dig down and do the specifics. We do have a couple of sites already where we are going to be planting trees in specific areas, Colonial Terrace on a park on Wickapeco. There are projects like that in the works, but the focus of this plan is to really create a roadmap, a solid roadmap that we can follow. Ted, do you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, so Councilwoman Talarico, I just wanted to clarify one other thing. You had asked about that percentage of fair and good condition trees.
Yes, I
That's
was
based
very
on
concerned.
that's based on the subset survey that was performed, which was a partial. So that is not a complete clear overview of all trees in the community. That is
Mhm.
only what was provided with that sampling of the partial tree inventory. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the 11 square miles, how much did it cover?
So there is a map, and Mr. Colton could either answer that probably better than I can. How much of an area was covered by that? It was a partial inventory, which I think included somewhere of subsets of community areas, not specifically a larger swath of the community. So in
Right,
other words, it
right,
was dotted into a series of neighborhoods at that best.
right. What we did was we covered all of the parks and we covered all of the school properties. We had to make an arrangement with the Board of Education so that they would be included in this kind of a thing because that's technically not the township's properties and so on and so forth. So we covered those and then we started working on the east side of 35, in the Oakhurst area and so on and so forth. And then eventually, um, as it processed, we only got so far. So we still have more to do here. We have to do a lot of stuff on the west side of 35. We didn't, except for the parks and schools and that type of thing, we didn't do anything. So there's still a lot more to do. I would
So
say,
is this management plan, I mean, it's not all encompassing of the full town. So do we have to continue on with the plan
No,
or is
no, the
this
management plan encompasses the town. The inventory is a section of the plan that was done by a separate grant with the Davies Resource Group, did an inventory of the existing trees. The plan
okay?
talks about the whole town, but the inventory, we've only been able to inventory so far so much of the town, and we prioritize the swaths of land that had the most public trees because we wanted to see
Understood.
the health and so forth of those trees. And we really look forward, I just want to add, we really look forward to working with the council and with the planning board and with environmental commission. We've been working with environmental commission and people on the planning board and the DPW in the development of this plan. We did, Shade Tree didn't do this in isolation. We did this, as I said, with a lot of public input, people who run the watersheds, and so the different departments in the town administrator. So we really look forward to working with everyone moving forward about how to now enact these goals in this plan and find that very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I ask a follow-up question? So, hi, Patty. Hi, Norm.
yes.
Hey.
My standard, what's taken so long? Why don't we have a planting plan in place? We've been at it for 5 years. I know you came on about a year ago, Patty.
About
But
2 years now.
2 years. That's not. Why does it take so long to get a planting plan in place?
Well, it's like you want us to, you can't build a cake unless you have the flour and the eggs and all the ingredients. We needed this plan. We needed the inventory. We
But we
need
had a plan.
we needed
Hold on.
public
Wait,
input.
hold on, Patty. Patty, if this is a follow-up to the 5-year plan that we're already in, why didn't we just use that plan?
That plan didn't have specific planting recommendations
But
either. I mean,
But
that
you've
was,
also attended the council meetings, and I've been to Shade Tree Commission meetings asking for this, and nobody mentioned that we needed to revise this plan to get a planning plan in
No,
place.
this plan,
Hold on, we have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in a budget, waiting for you to come up with a plan. As far as I'm concerned, we're wasting the township's money because it's just sitting there and it's doing nothing. I can go
well,
find.
which
someplace-
money are you referring
Hold
to?
on,
Because
hold on,
it's,
hold
I'm
on,
sorry,
hold
I'm
on,
just,
hold on.
okay.
I can go find 10 places to plant trees with the 150, 300, $500,000 that we have.
Yeah.
What's it taking so long?
Well,
Rob, I would say that we've been behind, we haven't been as forward in pushing forward to plant a lot of trees so far as we could. I admit that, okay? But the plan itself, for example, Ted's work we got another grant for Ted to do this thing. This is a requirement of the state. Okay, the most important thing is to keep our accreditation with New Jersey Urban and Community Forestry Program. What that does is it protects the town for anything that might happen as if we were totally ignoring everything and bad things happen with trees. Okay, so it's a part of the whole DEP program, that you have. So part of that includes having a 5-year plan that says what we're doing. Every year we send in a thing that says what we've done, which I admit has not been that great an amount of things. Most of the trees, the streets where we really want to do things, we have to want to address that with the council, what things we might be able to do. Without getting into that, because it's not even included in this plan. But the only place in residential communities now that trees can successfully get planted, if you want to have tree-lined streets, are actually on private property. Okay, so that's an issue that we have. So planting a few more trees in Joe Playa Park, yes, we could throw a few more trees in, and so on and so forth. But we want to have a better plan overall to get everything done in a timely manner. Right now,
When you say a timely manner, Norm, again, we've been at this 5 years. So what is the target? Hold on. Let me ask. Hold on. Let me ask the question. What is the target date to have the plan to the council?
Which plan? The planting plan or the tree plan? Because this is not the planting plan.
I understand that, but you guys opened yourself up to questions, so what the heck?
Okay, well, here's part of the issue. When we had all the people come to town, all the various organizations came to the stakeholder meetings, including members of the general public, okay? And Ted led them through what were the most highest priorities for us to do things in general, okay? And the highest priority was community safety. Okay, so personally, I think the first things to do are to get the tree survey done as fast as we can, so that we know where the most dangerous trees are, and get rid of all those dangerous trees. Okay, the dangerous trees that were identified in that first part of the survey have been addressed. Okay, and so that's a good thing. But there are a lot more that Ted and Bill Brooks have driven around and just looked around, and they see there's trees that are dangerous trees that are the town's trees that needs to be something done with, but they haven't been specifically sought out and surveyed, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the first thing we have to do. The second one.
How long has that been going on, Norm?
Excuse me?
How long has Bill's been on staff for what, 2 years now?
Right. Well, he has seen a few, but he has not gone out and walked around every tree. They're looking at things they see that might be dangerous trees that when in a drive-by basis, which is one of the first levels of survey that we think we want to take under once we keep going on the new plan.
And I would just like to add, Rob, we're working on parallel tracks too here, because we had to create this plan. It's required, which took a lot of work. And then we also have right now 2 planting plans going on that we were doing. One in Colonial Terrace, fixing the park there. So that's a planting plan that's already in the works and in place. And then the other one that we're just doing, that we're coordinating with the township, is the park on Wickapeco. So we are actually doing 2 planting projects right now. For an entire planning, come up with a plan for the entire township is going to require, as Norm said, it's going to require public-private partnerships. It's going to require input. Can I finish, please?
For 2 years. How much more partnership?
Excuse me, can I finish, please?
Sure.
Because you asked a question.
I got it.
In the plan that we have now is a year by year what we're going to do and how we're going to try to do it. Okay, we needed to get public input. I can come up with a plan. You can come up with a plan. We can say what we think is best. But but that's not really how you serve the township. You need to hear from everyone else. And we did. We took the time. We got that information. And now we're ready to move forward. I could, write a list for you of places we should plant. Obviously, the overburdened communities around Route 35. But that's going to need public-private partnerships. And that's the next thing. One of the next things we're going to be looking to doing is creating that. It's not just write a plan and do it. We have to work with other people in the township to make this happen. And
why not write the plan and share it with everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we just did write a big plan.
No, the planting plan. Because again, We've been at this for 2 years. Write the plan and then we'll get the feedback.
Yes.
Well, that's an interesting idea. I don't think that's
Well-
how, it works. We could certainly,
Well,
I,
what we have right now isn't working, respectfully. We haven't seen anything.
well, that's not true. You have
Yes,
seen,
I
as I
haven't seen.
said, we
Show
have
me
two
the draft.
projects going
Patty,
on now.
show me the draft. Show me the draft planting
No,
plan that
no,
the
Rob,
Shade
I
Tree
think Rob
Commission.
is, no, Patty, I think Rob is right in that we do not have a specifically identified planning plan with the exception of what we're going to do over in Colonial Terrace. Okay?
And the
You know,
park in
the plan
Wickapeca.
is there. Well, the park over there, well, there's a plan that came in for the park itself that may or may not be a final planting plan, but they do identify, some number of trees that are going to go in that. But they have to first do a lot of work on the park before we can plant the trees. So that won't happen until they get the park put together. Okay. The other things are that the kind of things we want to address. Now, to be honest, overburdened communities was not something that was even in my vocabulary before we started this project. Okay. And so we're working on this plan itself to get it into the state, which is not a planting plan, right? We're doing that, but I think one of the things we should do, and maybe the council might want to participate in this also, is go visit these communities and see what could or couldn't be done. Okay, because those communities themselves may or may not even be places where you can safely plant a bunch of trees either. Of course, if they've got very small spaces and and the sidewalks are right there and it's small, short, I don't know what they've got,
And a big project and a planning plan would probably require grants as well. So, I mean, we can come up with ideas of where we think we would like to put trees, and we could write that up for sure. But it's, since some of these, I said, are going to require the use of private land, if you're really going to replace the tree canopy where it's needed, you need to do public-private partnerships. And we want to try to do things with grants. And we don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the Shade Tree Fund right now. After we do this project, we're going, it's, a lot of that money is gone. Most of that money is gone. We have enough to finish a project, a Wickapeco. It's used for maintenance, it's used for tree removal. A lot of this is laid out in the plan and, says where monies come from, how much comes in, what gets used. But we recommend that the majority of the money in the Shade Tree Fund be used for the planting of trees. That's one of the recommendations in the plan, and for the maintenance of trees, but not for tree removal. That's one of the points that's in the plan, and that hasn't been the case. So, we're not sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars. You said that before, and that's
I'm
not.
surprised given how many trees we've taken down and charged the residents and commercial businesses. I'll ask for an accounting of the money. I'm sorry, I thought it was well into the hundreds of thousands.
But that's what it says in the 5-year projected plan. I mean, I also would just like to say that I'm the new council liaison, so I would be more than happy to go with anyone to any of these places to take a look at the canopies and also speak with the residents. And also from the August meeting, I thought there was a $5,000 grant that there was a discussion about where the mapping of the trees and where they were being planted.
Now, the $5,000 grant went to Ted Szynski, our Sterling consultant, to write this plan. That was the money for that. And then we had a grant that was, what was the exact amount of that, Norm? That went to Davies Resource Group for a partial inventory.
Well, the grant wound up, we got about 42,500 for that. And we had to do our in-kind was mostly in combination of Bill Brooks' time, which was the community's money, and volunteer hours, which was.
Okay. So, I mean, I would love to see the inventory of the budget as well.
Well,
Thank you.
I think Dave Brown is the person to speak to about this, to get those budgets. We are, our opinion is asked for that, but we are not in charge of the Shade Tree budget.
Okay.
And Patty, I want to thank you guys for
you're, doing all the hard work and getting this. I know it's been a while. Rob, I get your points. I think that the best bet is to maybe get an update at some point. Grace Ann will attend the meeting and she can give an update to the council. I know that this has been a little bit frustrating, having it, not having that part of the plan together, but we also understand you guys are volunteers and we appreciate everything that you've done up to this point.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I think that once we can get together, maybe we'll get together even with Grace.
that'd be great. I mean, I
Hmm?
think a timeline or a time
Yeah.
frame would be wonderful. And then at least we can do updates and provide the public, some updates of what's happening. So thank you.
Any other questions?
I have questions on other resolutions, not this one.
Okay. Go ahead, Grace
Okay,
Ann.
so just a comment, I guess. So apparently on the 25-245 for the community center, apparently there was a special meeting on May 7th, 2024, and there is no agenda and there also is no minutes online. So I did reach out to Dave today, but I also asked when we met just a little more information about that. So unfortunately, because I can't see any meeting minutes or any type of resident concerns, that's an issue for me on that particular resolution. And
What in regard to what, Grace Ann? I'm sorry.
the Oakhurst Community Center, the synagogue. There's just no information online from meeting minutes. It was a special meeting, and apparently it's not listed online.
Right. I think we went over this last time and it was done through the planning board. Dave, correct me if I'm
Zoning.
zoning board, but correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, but we're basically at a point where we're approving what they did.
correct. But I don't know what they did because there's no meeting minutes.
Then
So that's
again,
an issue for
Jesse and
me.
Dave answered that.
Yep.
I believe they stated that those minutes have to come from Nicole, and we haven't gotten those
But
minutes
it's
from them
odd.
yet.
It's odd, Mayor, because there are meeting minutes for the May meeting, but not that
Yep.
particular special meeting, and
So
June and July. Yeah.
Dave did state that, you can contact Colleen tomorrow before noon. I would do it before, we close the offices and find out where those minutes are.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yep.
And then the
Mayor, if I
other,
may,
Yes,
Mayor,
go
if I
ahead,
may, real
Dave.
quick too. Councilwoman, I responded to your email. I just saw it today when I walked in the office for the meeting because I've been out. But I copied Colleen on it, so it's en route. I'm not sure if Colleen's in the office yet, so
okay.
I'm getting to the bottom of it for you.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yep,
much,
no
Mr.
problem.
Brown. And the last thing I just want to make a mention of. So the resolution for the fourth round settlement, fair share housing. I don't obviously I'm new, right? But I wasn't around in 19 and I did read the third round housing adoption from 2019. And it seems that it happened exactly the same time of year. It was adopted 12/16/2019 and then went into effect in 2020. It just for me it's just so fast, this whole thing, and it really no information was given to the public, so I have a hard time for this as well. I just wanted to make that comment. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Jesse, any other questions from the public?
Let me unmute myself. I don't see any.
Okay, seeing here none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll offer.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Kaplan,
Yes.
Talarico,
So I'm going to abstain on 25, 245, yes for 246, yes for 247, and no for 248.
got it.
Thank you.
Okay. And you want to open the meeting up to public comments?
Wait a minute, I gotta vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry.
You don't have to have my vote. It
Sorry,
passed
John.
already. We're all good.
Mayor Napolitani?
I'll vote yes to everything. No problem. Jesse, don't worry about it.
I'm on vacation.
Don't worry about it. We're all good. Yes, let's all consent agenda items passed. I will open it up for public comment on anything that's germane to the Township of Ocean.
5 minutes.
So Jesse, just let me know if you see anybody in the queue.
Okay.
Public comment.
I have a public comment again.
Alex Hayes.
Hi, Alex Hayes, Oakhurst. Hope you can hear me again because I switched to my earphones. Just from a layperson, taxpayer, also public relations person perspective here, I don't know much about the tree canopy and all the things that you all were just talking about. It was fascinating to listen to. What I did hear was hundreds of thousands of dollars, a several-year plan, needing to plant. From somebody who does not know much about this stuff, may I suggest, if you're doing any sort of public outreach, that you break things down in terms of what it's going to cost to do what you want to do and what it's going to cost the taxpayers, if any. For example, I know for a fact that the state of New Jersey has a nursery in like the Toms River area that provides seedlings and saplings for pennies on the dollar. So I'm curious, if we need to plant 500 trees, why is that not $3,000? And then does our DPW plant them? I have no idea. So if there could be some kind of a breakdown for the average homeowner to kind of explain this process, like why does it seem rather expensive to plant trees? Maybe you buy ones that are 2 years old. I don't know. But information like that would kind of be helpful for those of us not in the know to kind of digest what's happening and how much things cost.
Well,
Thanks.
well, let me say this. Every year, we've given out seedlings from that nursery for the last 10 years. Okay, maybe more.
On Arbor
Norm,
Day, right?
Norm,
Yes.
I have to cut you off because I can't have the public commenting in regard to questions from the public.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
But she can track us down if she wants to talk. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other questions from the public?
I don't see anybody.
Seeing here none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, Happy New Year.
Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. Enjoy. Meeting is adjourned. Happy New Year. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe on
You
New Year's
too.
Eve.
Happy New Year.
Take care.